start in Supta Baddha Konasana, which will be a supine laying down pose. You can take 2 blocks, put them right underneath your knees. Feet are together like a book, and just relax. So laying all the way down on the back. If you want, you can take your blanket and put it underneath your head. I recommend putting your palms up to the ceiling or putting one hand on your chest and one hand on your heart. So take a moment and just arrive on the mat and arrive in your practice. And breathe. Inhale through the nostrils. Exhale through the nostrils. And let your back connect to the ground. It's not about getting your knees to the earth. It's not about pushing your hands onto the earth. It's about letting yourself become soft right now. Gradually letting the hips and the groin open while your back remains flat and supportive. Feel the foundations of the earth. Feel the back of your head. Feel the spine. Feel the elbows and the feet connecting with the ground as your grounding point. Let your breath become deeper and more encompassing. Begin not only to breathe more air, but connect with the spark inside of you that led you here. Not only because you're my friends. You've arrived here to practice the incredible process of yoga. Just take a moment of gratitude and recommit yourself to quenching that desire you had that led you here. Remember that yoga is your experience and yours alone. Just take what I say as a mere guide, but listen to your true internal guru as your teacher. Every single pose we're going to do tonight has modifications, and your body will tell you what you need. Your only responsibility is to listen. Everything is optional. Everything is at your service. We'll be talking a lot about letting go, which is one of the 5 yamas in yoga. That means the moral code of which you should be living by, according to the ancient yogic scriptures. So a parigraha is non-attachment. Graha means to seize or to take or to grab, and pari means on all sides. Just negates those 2 words. So ultimately, it's about taking what you need, keeping what serves you, and then letting go when the time is right. So not concerning ourselves with the outcome, but what we're doing right now, living in this very moment and living for your body. So working for the love of it, essentially. Take 3 more big inhales and exhales, noticing any subtleties or any loud screams that your body is giving at you. Any parts of the body that might need a little bit more attention. Maybe just say them out loud or say them to yourself. We'll take our hands and close our knees up like a book. And we'll come into wind relieving pose, taking that right leg, hugging it into the chest, bending at the knee, and just giving the hip a couple of circles. We'll just give it a little juice. Maybe flex the feet, point the toes. Just preparing ourselves for a little bit of flowing. Maybe pulling the knee into the elbow of the right side, of the left side. And then when you're ready to let go, extend the right foot long, and we'll switch, bending the left knee and pulling it into the chest, grabbing the shins, maybe giving it a couple of circles, left and then right. Maybe pulling that knee into or towards the left armpit and then the right armpit. And let go. When you're ready to let go, extend that leg. Point the toes deeply. Extend the arms over the head. Give yourself a big stretch. Maybe stretching through the abdomen, flexing, pointing, circling the ankles, circling the wrists. Engage the abdomen slightly to pull both knees back into the chest. Either grab your shins with your hands, or if you're ready for it, if your hips are ready, you can grab the underneath of your feet from the outside with either hand. Happy baby or modified happy baby. If you're in full happy baby, make sure your sacrum is planted down into the earth for a full stretch. And if you're not ready for this yet, you can take a strap over your feet and hold the strap instead. Maybe rock side to side, extend one leg and then the other, and keep that breath long. Okay, when you're ready, pull both knees into the chest. Give yourself a couple of rocks up and down until you gain some momentum and come to a seated position. Take a moment just for a fun little lion's breath. It's a good letting go exercise. So we'll take the hands really far apart, piano fingers, jazz hands, whatever you want to call it, to the knees. And we'll start with a couple of cat-cows seated. So inhaling, looking up at the ceiling, extending the chin. Exhale, arch the spine. Let yourself rock back a little bit and tuck the chin. 2 more like this. Let it flow, nothing rigid, just letting go. Inhale. Exhale, arch the spine, tuck the chin, gaze at the belly button. 1 more time. Inhale, gaze up. Exhale, rock back. Use your arms as traction on your knees. Gaze at the belly button. Okay, come back to neutral spine. We'll do lion's breath now. So essentially, we'll take a big inhale, and on our exhale, you look either straight up, in between the eyebrows, at the tip of your nose, or down, anywhere that's concentrated. And stick your tongue out and say, ha. So it's a letting go. So make it loud, make it feel good, make it feel like every one of your worries and anxieties and fears is just dripping off of your tongue. Okay, so and you can close your eyes too. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Make it long. Exhale. Close your eyes. Take the palms together in Anjali, Heart Mudra. And set your intention for tonight. It can be letting go. It can be practicing patience and letting go with yourself. It can be forgiveness for yourself. What do you want to let go of? Inhale, reach the arms above the head, lift the prayer up. Exhale, plant the hands in front of you, in front of the knees. We'll shift into all fours or just shift onto the hips to get yourself into all fours. And press into downward facing dog super slowly to get ready just for one little sun salutation. You can walk the dog here, extending one leg and then the other. Give yourself a little calf stretch. Good. Lift for the right leg up, maybe bend the knee. Open the hip out to the side. Draw a few circles in the air, maybe your initials, whatever it is, to get some juice flowing. Exhale, right leg comes down. Inhale, left leg comes up. Bend the knee, open the hip. Make a couple of circles, or just find that stagnancy, whatever it is, to juice your hip up a little bit more. Exhale, bring the left leg down. Inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky, gaze forward. Exhale, plant the right foot slowly in between the hands, left knee comes down to the ground. We'll take our blocks, one on either side, on the highest setting. Inhale, lift the chest proudly. So right here, it's really easy for that right hip to go forward. So we want to pull the right hip back, left hip comes forward. So we're just using the blocks, maybe fingertips to shine the heart proud. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, adjustment as needed to make sure the knee is right over the heel. Beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna take the left block in our left hand, lift it up over the head. Bring both hands to this block. And now we're gonna take our right hand back to the block, move it so it's in line with the hip on the ground, and reach over towards the right. You should feel this in your IT band on your left side. Your IT band stretches all the way through the pelvis area, all the way down to the shin. So it's a big, big nerve that gets mistaken a lot for the hamstring. Inhale, reach the block tall. Exhale, reach the block a little bit towards the side wall. Inhale, both hands come up, engage the core just for protection. Exhale, bring both blocks down to the earth. Good. So we'll keep the hands on the blocks here and shift backwards until the front leg is about straight. If you need a bend in there, keep a bend so you don't hyperextend into Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. So flexing that right foot or pointing, it does not matter as long as it's concentrated. Again, it's really easy for that right hip to shift forward to compensate. So we want to pull that right hip back. When you're ready, plant that left hand on the block and open up the right side. And stay here breathing for 3 counts. Inhale. Exhale, create space. Inhale a little taller. Exhale, bring the right hand back down. Good. So we'll shift forward back into our low lunge, letting the blocks to the side of the mat. Tuck the back toe, lift the knee, step back into a plank position. Lower the knees, lower the chest and chin, hips stay slightly raised. Shift the body all the way forward. Use the back muscles to lift the chin and the chest, baby cobra. Exhale, shift the hips back into child's pose. Awesome. Take a moment and let the forehead connect with the mat. Bring yourself back to that intention that you set. And if you didn't set one, you can create one now. Inhale, shift forward into all fours. Tuck the toes, plant the hands into the earth, and lift the hips up to the ceiling, downward facing dog. I want to press down between the thumb and the pointer. So if I try to stick my fingers here, I cannot do it. So if you need to shorten your dog for your hamstrings here, do so. Inhale, take the left leg up to the ceiling, toe pointed with energy. Look forward, exhale, step between the hands, right knee to the earth. Inhale, we'll take those blocks back onto the mat into a low lunge, letting the heart shine forward, and check those hips. So is the left hip forward? You pull it back a little bit more. Beautiful. Okay, inhale, we'll take the right block up to the ceiling, grabbing with both hands. Exhale, bring the left hand back to the block. Inhale, grow tall, bring the block high. Exhale, shift over to the left, feeling that IT stretch on the left side. Do you guys feel that? Good. Yeah, it's not a comfy one. So on your inhales, we get taller. On our exhales, we reach longer. So using that core strength just a little bit can be the difference of feeling crunched versus finding grounding in your feet and extension through the spine and the arms. Awesome. Take one more inhale, come to the center, both arms touch the block. Exhale, we'll bring the block to the ground and shift the hips back into half splits. So you might need to adjust the back knee a little bit. Toe can be tucked or untucked as long as toes are pointing backwards. And that left foot can be flexed or pointed. So find that adjustment. Can you pull the left hip back? Beautiful. Okay, inhale, let the heart shine forward. Exhale, fold forward just a bit. Take that right hand on top of the block, left arm opens to the side. And the whole time you're doing this, keep pulling that left hip back. Reach the fingers tall. So there's a connecting point between the left heel on the earth and the left hand reaching long into the air. Can you grow taller with that grounding and in that expansion? What can you let go of here when your IT band is screaming at you? Take one more inhale, grow tall. Exhale, bring both hands back to the blocks. Shift the hips forward and bend the front knee into a low lunge. Plant the hands on the earth, tuck the back toe, lift the knee. Step back into plank position. Flow vinyasa or straight to downward facing dog. Once we're in downward facing dog, drop to the knees to an all fours position. And we'll come and do a thread the needle for the backs of the shoulders, inhaling the right arm all the way up to the sky. Exhaling, threading that arm behind the left armpit. So the fingers are reaching long, palm facing up. Beautiful. So the right side of the head can reach to the ground. Or you can take a blanket underneath the head if you're feeling any crunching in your neck. Or like it. So you might feel a stretch in the back of the shoulder blade. You can stay here if you're comfortable, or take that left arm up to the ceiling, bend at the elbow, and place the back of the palm on the small of the back. And if that's comfortable, try to reach for the hip crease. If you want to find some balance in this pose, you can take the left foot back and tuck the toes with a straightened leg. Take some deep inhales and exhales here, not losing that connection with your hips. It's very easy to dump all of your weight in your knees. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale, we'll start unwinding, bringing yourself towards a neutral spine. Inhale, reach the right arm up to the ceiling once again to unwind. Exhale, bring the right hand to meet the left on the mat. We'll take it to the other side, inhaling the left arm up to the sky. Exhale, threading that left arm underneath the right, extending the fingertips long. Stay here or take a different arm variation. Letting the spine unwind. Continuing to reach the fingers long. With energy pointing in every direction you have a limb going. Take two more deep inhales and exhales. And we'll begin to unwind. Inhale, letting the spine come towards neutral. Slowly. Reach the left arm all the way back to the sky, just as a counter pose. Exhale, bring the left hand to meet the right. We'll take a couple of cat-cows here, just letting yourself flow, letting go. Anything that your body's still holding on to, bring to your attention, emotionally or physically, what your physical body and subtle body are needing. We'll come into puppy pose now, which is an extended version of child's pose. So if child's pose is your favorite and you're totally feeling it, we'll take the hips all the way back down to the knees. For puppy pose, we'll keep the knees exactly over, the hips right over the knees, and we'll let the hands reach out as far as they can. You can take the forehead to the mat, the chin to the mat, or one cheek, and then I'll tell you when we're halfway, and then the other cheek. So essentially what you want is a straight line with your thighs. Yeah, great. Are you guys hot? No. No. The heat definitely came on. Good. Together. It doesn't matter. Yeah. There's two different ways to do this pose. One actively, so allowing your elbows to stay off the earth. So pressing into the fingers like you would downward facing dog. The other way is a passive, where you let the elbows sink down into the ground and you let your heart melt all the way. So another word for this is heart melting pose. Okay, try to put your chin on the ground and tell me if that's uncomfortable in your neck. A little bit. Okay. So as your heart is melting into the earth, what can you let go of? We hold so tightly to our expectations and what we think we need. What can you show yourself and give yourself at this moment? Relax the toes, relax the fingers, and relax the neck. Okay. We'll come out of this with one full breath. Inhaling, walking the hands closer to the torso until we reach an all fours position. Okay, this one is my favorite pose of all time. So we'll take both of our blocks and place them the same distance that you would for downward facing dog. So about shoulders distance. So the knee placement isn't exact, or the hip placement isn't exactly as necessary to find in this one. So they can be a little bit over, whatever is comfortable. So what we'll do is take our elbows down to the blocks and we'll take them into a prayer above our head, letting the heart sink down into the earth. So maybe try a couple different adjustments here. Maybe walk the knees backwards, walk the knees forward, and just see where you find the relief in your shoulder blades. If it's uncomfortable at first, just sit with it. The things that are most uncomfortable usually promote the best growth. So take a moment and figure out where you can let go. Be okay with curiosity. Be okay with wherever you are. And be okay with not having control over what your body wants, just giving it whatever it wants. After you've been here for a couple of seconds, maybe try to push your hands more towards the middle of your back. So energetically, can you find that separation between your shoulder blades and allowing your heart to melt deeper towards the mat to let the chest muscles relax. Okay, we'll begin to come out using the core and the leg muscles to bring the forearms to the blocks. We'll come into all four position, and we can wipe it away with the vinyasa or just lay on your stomach. So if you'd like the vinyasa, we'll come into a plank position, bend the elbows halfway into a half push-up. Inhale on top of the feet so the toenails are reaching into the earth, heart is shining forward. Exhale, use the core to lift the hips up to the ceiling, flipping the toes, downward facing dog. Let the knees reach down to the earth. Actually, are we all in all fours? Yeah, okay, we'll stay here for a second. Keep the toes tucked underneath you. We're just going to sit back onto the heels and walk the hands towards the body. So gaze back, make sure every single one of your toes is tucked under. My pinky toe likes to not sometimes. And just close the eyes and place the hands on the knees. Take 5 of your deepest breaths here. This is the most uncomfortable pose anyone could ask of you. So just take a moment and feel into the uncomfortability. It'll be over in about 3 breaths. Let your last breath fill you up entirely. And let your last exhale let go of everything that's not serving you. Plant the hands onto the earth, to untuck the toes and tap them on the ground. You like that? And now we'll come onto the stomach. So take a moment and just make a little pillow with your hands, put one cheek onto them and roll your hips back and forth. Just wag your tail, let go, Advasana. We're almost halfway through our stretching session, so notice any changes your body has gone through, any wants that your body is asking for, and just revisit that intention and what you can provide yourself. Bring the palms underneath the shoulders and we'll come into another shoulder stretch. So we'll take the left arm into a goalpost. So the elbow is in line with the shoulder and the wrist is in line with the elbow. So you're making a 90-degree angle. If this doesn't work, there are different options too. So we will take the right hand and tent it right underneath the shoulder and pick the left foot up off the ground. Bend the knee and we'll open onto our left side using that tent to guide us, maybe bringing that foot towards the ground. So keep bending and then try to get your toe onto the floor. Are you on the floor? Oh, good. The floor was closer than I thought. Always is. So on your inhales, you're letting the spine grow long and extend. And on your exhales, you maybe open up a little bit deeper. If you're comfortable here, you can take that tented right hand and lift it up to the sky. Maybe place the back of the palm on the small of your back, just like we did in Thread the Needle. This is a deep chest opener for the pectoral muscles. And this requires a lot of patience for the body. The line of fascia all the way through the shoulders and through the chest is one of the most tightly wound, especially in men. So we want to be easy with this one. There's a few poses in yoga that are more about holding it longer than getting into it deeper. And this is one of them. So the more patience you have with this pose, the more it benefits you. We'll begin to unwind, bringing yourself back towards your stomach. Let yourself have a full inhale and exhale on the stomach. Maybe feeling the differences of either side of your chest. So bringing both hands into a bowl pose position, maybe shaking out the hips again, realigning the feet to prepare for the other side. So making sure that right arm is in a 90-degree angle. We'll tent the left fingers, lift the left foot off the ground, bend the knee, and peel yourself open onto the right side. We'll take the foot onto the ground or on the block. And let the neck remain long here. Let the fingers relax on the right hand. And maybe use some of the energy to bring the knee towards the ceiling, grounding the foot. Awesome, good walker. So we are twisting in a million different ways here, through the chest, through the spine, through the hips, and through the legs. Bring intention into all of those body parts to not lose yourself in one to the other. You can take that arm variation on the other side. Try to wiggle it down towards the hip crease. Take 2 more inhales and exhales. And after your second exhale, slowly bring yourself back towards the stomach. Bring the hands into a little pillow underneath your head. Bring the opposite cheek to the mat. Wag your tail a couple times. And notice any subtleties in the shoulders or in the hips that may have changed. We'll bring ourselves into half frog now. So we'll stay on our stomach. Take the arms kind of wherever they want, but goalpost is always a good happy one. And then we'll bend the right knee, bringing the knee towards the top of the torso. So the knee can align with the hip, it can align with the left knee, it does not have to go that high. So we'll stay here, bring the right cheek to the mat, and just let the hip open for a few breaths. Let the hips sink down into the earth. Just let gravity do the work here. Take 2 more inhales and exhales. So we're gonna experiment with a little torso back twist now. If you're comfortable here, just stay here. But if you want to explore my favorite twist ever, what we're gonna do is take the left arm straight out in front of you. Take your right hand and grab your strap. We're gonna twist open onto the left side of the body into a twist. You can keep the right arm extended long. I'll come over and help you. Or you can bend that left knee and grab the left foot with the right hand. And if you can't reach, this is what the strap is for. And then we'll lay down so the back of the head or the left side of the head is on the earth. Comfy?
I know.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can always place a blanket or a block, just something you use for the sense of support. So you're flexy. So again, you're all wound up, all twisted. So what can you do here to tell yourself it's okay? Instead of emotionally getting wound up, instead of letting those to-do lists and Christmas shopping lists and cleaning chores seep into your mind, what do you have to do to be in this moment? Not for the outcome, but to live the experience. Stay here, or maybe extend the left leg long, right leg, sorry. If you want, you can try to grab the right leg with the left hand. This is called cat's tail. Yeah. We're just having fun here. He's like, no.
Possible way. That's happening.
Yeah. Paying attention to the lumbar part of your back, the bottom part of your back, making sure you're not crunched. Relax the neck and take one more big inhale, growing tall. Exhale, let it go. Okay, slowly we're gonna come back to our stomach, keeping the strap on the opposite side now. And take your time here. Okay, when you're ready, we'll take our arms back into a goal post and just come into half frog, bending that left leg and letting the knee rise up. So letting gravity do the work for you here. Sinking into the ground. Yin yoga and restorative yoga is the perfect example of not working to produce a result. It's not always necessary to go, 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 or to give 110%. Sometimes the absence of action gives you more benefits than we realize. With our entire lifestyle, it's always about going and producing and doing the best work. When is there room to balance? We have the yin and we have the yang. Most of our day is spent in yang. So allow yourself this 75 minutes to deepen the yin experience. Okay, we'll stay here in half frog or go into that funky twist. Taking the right arm out in front of you long, grabbing that strap if you want it with the left hand, and rolling ourselves onto the right side of our body. Stay here with the left arm extended long, palm facing upward, or bend the knee and grab the foot with the left hand. This is cat's tail. You're grabbing your tail. Yeah, you can put a block under the knee, get adjustment. Okay.
Yeah, really good.
So you're gonna take, roll onto the right side. Keep this knee bent. And you're gonna, You're gonna take the bottom leg bend and grab it. So this one stays. It stays, and you can grab. Okay. And then go on to. Notice any differences from the other side. This might be physically easier or easier to get into, or physically harder, mentally harder, or just confusing. Twisting allows us to detox from a very cellular level. When we twist and untwist, a lot of new fresh blood makes its way through our organs, through every single system. So not only is it good for digestive system, for the respiratory system, for the endocrine system, but it fully allows our blood to freshen entirely. Twisting can bring up a lot of emotions that are stored in the back, in the hips, or in the shoulders. So just gently remind yourself to feel what you feel. It might be frustration, it might be joy. It's all valid, and it's all part of the letting go process. Stay here, or maybe extend that top leg, bringing yourself into even deeper of a twist. Maybe grabbing the foot. And binding is weird because while you're twisting and while you're putting your limbs into places they normally don't go, you're still finding space. And that's the secret of the magic of yoga, is condensing yourself and compressing yourself and also finding space at the same time. Take 2 more deep inhales and exhales here. Again, we like to have control and like to think that we have control. So what part of the letting go process can show you that you don't need to have that you can go with it? Slowly make your way back to the stomach and get the props all out of the way for now. Just take a moment with one cheek to the mat. We'll come into our big hip opener of the night, frog position. And if this is not in your practice, there are tons of other variations you can take. So when you're ready, bring yourself to an all fours position. Grab your bolster behind you just in case you want to use it. And this one is like the more propped up you are, the better it is. Okay. So frog position is, so like hip openers, you have child's pose, and then you have puppy pose, and then you have frog pose. So they're all different variations of the same thing. So this is like the deepest possible hip opener, heart extension pose that you can be in. So we're gonna get into it really slowly. And luckily this ground is really cushy, so it'll be helpful. So put pillows or blankets under your knees if you need to, okay? Cool. So, same thing with the knees. Remember in puppy pose, it was like ideal to have your hips over your knees. This is ideal also, but it doesn't matter that much. So we're gonna do whatever comfortable. The most important thing, and the only important thing, Kay, like you were saying before, it matters where your toes are in comparison to your knees. So they have to be a straight line back. If they're not, just bring your knees in a little bit more, because that's the most important part to protect your knees. I like to flex my feet here, just so I know I'm bringing intention into it, but that's not necessary. I just think it's helpful. So we're gonna basically slide our knees out until we can't anymore. So keeping the hips right in line with the knees, let the hips extend out, yeah, it's a big one. And walk your feet out a little bit, yeah. So if your knees are off the mat, your feet should also be off the mat, yeah, perfect. So props here, we can bring elbows on top of the blocks. We can bring a block underneath the forehead. Horrible throw. And relax. You can bring a bolster underneath the hips if you'd like. You can bring a blanket underneath the groin if you'd like, or underneath the stomach. It's okay if you want to even put like a block underneath the stomach. Yeah. Okay. Do you want something for underneath your stomach? Bolster. And I want you guys to set up and get comfy here. This is also one of those poses that is more useful and more beneficial the longer you're in it. So I'm gonna set the clock. Not gonna tell you how long, but we're gonna be here for a little bit. I want you to think about your breath. And the only thing you're gonna think about is your breath. If you're at that point where you're feeling some discomfort, allow yourself to tweak just enough to find stillness again. If you'd like to go deeper, take a prop away. Maybe sink the hips farther towards the back of the room, now's the time to do it. Parigraha, non-attachment. You're not attached to your emotions, not attached to the outcome, not attached to how the body is feeling. Take 3 of your deepest breaths. Maybe exhaling audibly. After that 3rd breath, very slowly, there is no graceful way out of this pose, I promise. Make your way to a seated position. So take your sweet time. We'll take the knees up in the air once you get there. So place the hands behind you, fingertips facing your butt. And we'll just windshield wiper very slowly. Give them some love. They probably hurt right now, but your hips are thanking you, I promise. So maybe twice more on each side, as fast or as slow as your body's calling for. We'll take a couple different versions of Janu Shirshasana. So we'll extend the legs out in front of us, maybe shake them out a little bit. You can sit on a block or a blanket if you're having trouble staying upright. So if you're finding yourself hunched at all, just blanket always helps. We'll take the left foot, bend the right knee, and place the sole of the foot either above the knee, on the knee, or right below. Wherever you feel you can still sit upright. We'll inhale, if you're really bendy, put a block in front of your foot. Inhale, reach the arms up, grow tall, maybe look up. Exhale, I want you to flip your palms up towards the ceiling and reach forward, pretending you have like a very heavy platter and you're serving it to the person in front of you. So we're not bending down. This is a forward fold, so we're bending forward. Roll the shoulders back and down and extend the heart shining in front of you. So if there was like a little spotlight, you know, those like laser lights in your heart, it should be shining about 1 foot in front of your foot, or yeah, basically. So once we're here, we'll flip the palms down to the earth and let the hands come to the ground. And if you'd like, you can take 2 blocks here just for some traction. And I want you to pull the chest forward with your hands. So inhale, exhale, sink a little tiny bit deeper. Keep that right foot flexed, toes pointing to the ceiling. My toes always go out to the right here, so make sure they are straight up. Good. 1 more inhale, let the chest shine forward. Exhale, we're gonna take the forehead down, whatever that means. So we're coming into a passive version of this pose. So instead of keeping energy in that foot, I want you to let the energy sink down into the earth. So you're doing the bare minimum to keep yourself upright. Letting the shoulders relax, letting the knees relax. Take 3 more breaths here. After your last breath, take your hands on either side of you and slowly walk the torso upright. Set your props to the left of you, just so we can use them again. We'll take both legs extended long and shake it out a little bit. We'll take it to the other side, bending the right leg in, opening that knee out, maybe placing a block underneath it just for some support, and placing the sole of the foot wherever it lands. Flex those toes up to the sky of the left foot. Inhale, reach the arms out ahead of you, gaze up. Exhale, hold that platter in front of you and shift the body forward. So we're creating that stability here. The pelvis is facing down towards the earth. The core is engaged and the ribs are lifting out of the pelvis. Awesome. So you're finding grounding in the hips, but the heart is rising. Gaze in front of you, in front of your toes, looking at where your heart would be shining right in front of you. Inhale. Exhale, reach a little bit further. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, flip the palms and place the hands on the ground or on blocks. I'll take 2 deep inhales here. And on your next exhale, we'll come into our passive version. We'll take our props. Let our forehead sink down towards the props. Let the knee completely relax. Let the foot relax. Let the shoulders relax. Maybe roll the shoulders back and down once just to bring in tension. And let the neck, head hang heavy. Two more breaths here. And slowly begin to walk the torso back upright. Letting the props go to the side of the mat. And allowing the right leg to remain long, extending out. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Give the neck a couple of circles, either direction. We'll bend the knees to plant the feet onto the earth, about knees distance apart. Bring the arms out in front of you, and slowly but with control, sink all the way down to the earth. Okay, plant the feet on the ground, maybe walk them in towards your butt a little bit. Make sure you can reach one block. If you can't, I'll come over to you. So we'll lift the hips up off the ground and place that block underneath us for a restorative bridge posture. You can stay here if you'd like. You can add another block on top of this one and stay or extend the legs long, planting the heels into the earth. This is a really big hip flexor opener and abdomen opener. So we just want to be careful with this. If you're comfortable here, you can even raise the arms above the head and let the back of the hands rest on the earth for a full body stretch. Take 2 more breaths here. Walk the heels back in towards the torso. Bring the arms back towards the side of the body. Lift the hips up and remove any props that you may have placed underneath you. Lower the hips to the earth. Hug the knees into the chest. We'll come into a supine twist, letting the knees fall to the left side. You can place a block underneath the knees, in between the knees, or cross the right knee over the left. Letting the arms come into a T position like wings and letting go. So with twists, on our inhales, we get a little bit taller. And on our exhales, we twist a little bit deeper. You can gaze at the right fingertips or keep your eyes facing the ceiling. Relax the neck, relax the toes. Take 1 more inhale, exhale deeply. Inhale, engage the abdomen just a bit to roll yourself back onto the back body, hugging both knees into the chest. Stay neutral for 1 moment before taking it to the other side, dropping the knees to the right side. Knees can rest on a block or put a block in between the knees or cross the left over the right. Open the arms out to a T. Maybe gaze at that left fingertip. And relax the shoulders. It's really easy to crunch the shoulders up towards the neck here. I want you to think about having a long neck, a long spine, and sinking into the earth. Inhale, get long. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Engage the abdomen slightly and roll yourself back to the back body. We'll take ourselves into a happy baby position, either hands on the shins or hands underneath the feet. Pulling the knees towards the sides or towards the armpits. Notice anything different from where we started. It's been about 75 minutes since we were last in happy baby position. What is your body telling you now that it wasn't telling you before? Maybe you're happy, maybe you want to kill me, maybe you just want to leave and go home and go to bed. Listen. Okay, take any other pose that your body might need before we reach our final Shavasana. And when you're ready, we'll let the legs long onto the ground. Take up space between the thighs, space between the sides and between the armpits. Let the arms come out long. Maybe rock the head to one side, rock the head to the other side, and just let yourself be. We do all the work, all the yang, so we can meditate. We put ourselves through action so we can rest. We work so we can receive the benefits. Shavasana is the end of our practice. It's the assimilation of yoga into the rest of your life. It's to take what you just did and bring it out the door. I'm going to read you a passage from the Bhagavad Gita, which is the grand adventure of Lord Krishna and Prince Arjuna, explaining the moral qualities and the lessons in the world of yoga, one of which is aparigraha, letting go. Krishna says to Arjuna, "You have the right to work, but never to the fruit of work. You should never engage in action for the sake of reward, nor should you long for inaction. Perform work in this world, Arjuna, as a man established within himself, without selfish attachments and alike in success and defeat. For yoga is the perfect evenness of mind." He means don't concern yourself with an outcome of a situation. We should really only concern ourselves with what we're doing right now as we work towards that outcome. We hold on really tightly, and we need to work for the love of it. Shavasana. Keeping your eyes closed, start bringing intention to your breath, to your body, and to your positioning in this room. Maybe wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, and inhale deeply through the nostrils. Stay here or bring the knees into the chest, giving yourself a final hug. And when you're ready, roll to either side, using one arm as a little pillow underneath the head. Take the opposite hand and place it on your heart. And look internally and say one nice thing about yourself. Seal that comment in there for when you need it in the future. And when you're ready, use your arms to pull you up into a seated position, sitting on a block, sitting on a blanket, or on the mat. Keep the eyes closed. Bring the hands together at the heart center. And we'll seal this practice with one Om together. You can join me or just listen in. Take an inhale and an exhale together first. Inhaling. Exhale deeply. Inhale for Om. Thank you for sharing yourself and your practice with myself and my practice. We appreciate you letting me lead you in this deep stretch class. Namaste. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. How do you feel? You warm.
Warm.
Yeah, I know. It's like hot in here. I don't know if it's just right here. I'm going to stop recording now. Cool. I've never recorded something.